Today we will be speaking a little bit about the in-between, the feeling of being in between one space and another, one place and another. So before we start, I will say that we will be in Isaiah chapters 40, 41, and 42, 3 whole chapters. I know, bear with me. You can turn to them if you want for reference. But before we get straight into the specific scriptures, I wanted to give some context around these chapters. It is believed that these 3 chapters were written to the people of God during the Babylonian exile. These chapters give a depiction of the character of God. They give comfort in times of weariness and wandering, and they provide hope for the future. And today, through these chapters, I want to explore, as I said before, the experience of the in-between. Being in a place where you are not where you started, but you're also not at your final destination either. Another word in this context that would be used could be the word liminal, or the experience of liminality. I don't know how many of you have heard of that word or not. I just learned it not too long ago, and it's one of the only big sophisticated words I know. So I'm going to give a definition of it and some examples before we continue, and this will be something that we can use the word liminal, liminality, and the in-between kind of with each other, in place of each other as we go through today. The definition of liminal, or being in a state of liminality, is of relating to or being in an intermediate phase or condition. Being in the in-between or transitional. Liminality can also describe the ambiguous or uncertain phase of being neither fully in the past nor completely in the future. The fluid and malleable conditions of liminality create opportunities for new beginnings, personal growth, and cultural innovation. Some basic examples of this could be maybe being in an airport. We just traveled in an airplane this past weekend, and you see people in an airport. What are they doing? They're going somewhere. They have left their home or wherever they were, and they are journeying or in the process of going somewhere else, but they're not yet there yet, right? And I'm looking around and seeing all of these people in the airport, and we are all experiencing the same experience at once of being in this in-between phase of life between where we were and where we're going. I guess the same could be said for driving in a car. You drove in a car, I would guess, to get here this morning. If you walked or ran, I'm impressed. I could not. Anna wants me to start going to the gym with her, and we'll see how that goes. But being in a car, you leave your house and you're on your way here. And so you're in the midst of this liminal phase of being in this vessel on its way somewhere, but not quite there yet. Another example could be in a waiting room at the doctor or the dentist. You're sitting there probably with other people. You have checked in already. You've gotten to this place, but you haven't yet been seen. You haven't fulfilled the purpose of why you're there, right? And lastly, something that I thought could also be a very good depiction, actually Anna helped me with this one, is the experience of pregnancy. Pregnancy can be a very liminal phase, at least that's what I've heard. It's this experience of the conception of the baby, and this baby now has a heartbeat. It has a growing body, but it has not yet been born into this world. And there it experiences a liminal state of being. And I think the people of God are no strangers to liminal spaces as well. We see this as early as Abraham, and I'm sure even earlier if I were to do more research. Abraham listens to God, uproots his life and family to start a journey to a land God would show him, the promised land for him and his descendants. Those very descendants would end up taking a few unexpected detours along the way. First, becoming enslaved in Egypt for what many believe would be at least 200 years and could be all the way up to 430 years. Then, even after the exodus of the Israelites led by Moses, they found themselves in the wilderness for 40 years. And finally, after periods of faithfulness and unfaithfulness, they find themselves in the midst of the promised land, fulfilling the covenant God gave to Abraham. And yet, even after being in the promised land, they were exiled to Babylon, once again being displaced and awaiting future fulfillment of God's promises. There started all the way with Abraham over here, where he uproots his life to transition and to experience this in-between of what God has called him to, but not yet being there yet. And it ends even with the exile in Babylon in the same way. And in the midst of this liminal and in-between uncomfortable experience of exile in Babylon is where we find today's passages, Isaiah chapters 40, 41, and 42. And we don't have time to read all 3 chapters in their entirety today, so I'm just going to highlight a few verses that encompass the themes of these 3 chapters. And watch this. I got this one. Boom. Isaiah 40, verse 8. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of our God endures forever. Verse 11. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. We'll jump down to verse 21. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told from the beginning? Have you not understood since the earth was founded? He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. He brings princes to naught and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. Verse 28, 29, and 30. Do you not know, have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. And his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. These verses have offered the people of God a reminder of who their God is in the midst of this ambiguity and uncertainty. And then if we go over to chapter 41, we see God offering words of hope and encouragement in times of distress and in the midst of liminality. Chapter 41, verse 8. But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, you descendants of Abraham, my friend. I took you from the ends of the earth. From the furthest corners I called you. I said, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Verses 13 and 14, for I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Do not be afraid, you worm Jacob, little Israel. Do not fear, for I myself will help you, declares the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Down to verses 17 and 18. The poor and needy search for water, but there is none. Their tongues are parched with thirst, but I, the Lord, will answer them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will make rivers flow on barren heights and springs within the valleys. I will turn the desert into pools of water and the parched ground into springs. Thanks be to God. And I just felt like we needed this reminder and to hear these words from God, because I think we still find ourselves in these liminal spaces today. And it's hard, and it weighs on us and burdens us and makes our hearts heavy. I find myself in a liminal space right now. I have finished 2 degrees preparing for a life and career in full-time ministry, but we have moved to North Carolina for a season as Anna finishes her degrees in preparation for the same thing. And so right now, as Anna continues to finish, I find myself in this weird space where I have kind of completed my course of study, and I have had these experiences and preparations in different ministry aspects in Nashville and now here, but I'm not yet in this full-time career mode of pastoral work or missionary work, but at the same time, I am starting to begin to get to do some of these things, like what I'm up here doing right now, and getting to serve with some of you. So I'm in this space where, I'm not where I started, but I'm not necessarily where I'm going either, but I'm starting to participate in this. And so I find myself in this in-between phase, this liminal experience. And I also know that members of our congregation are no stranger to liminality. I see people that are in between a diagnosis and a cure or a healing or a remission. In between the destruction of a building or shop and the restoration or rebuilding of it. In between the loss of a loved one and the coming together again in future glory. In between being with family and being away from family. Being in one house and another. Being taken care of and taking care of others. And in many ways, I also see it on a grand scale in the world that we live in today. This experience of liminality. We live in a liminal world if we were to kind of take a look at everything around us. We find ourselves in between multiple wars, political division, another school shooting, natural disasters, hurt, death, decay, But almost in the same breath, I see healing and renewal and beauty and grace and restoration. And I'm just brought back to these words in chapters 40 and 41. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of our God endures forever. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. I have chosen you. I've called you. You are my servants. I have not rejected you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you. I will be with you. I will hold your hand. Do not fear. I will help you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God, the Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The poor and the needy search for water, and their tongues are parched, but I will answer them. I will be there. I will make rivers that flow in the deserts, and I will make water spring up from the barren land. The parched ground will turn into springs. I'm reminded of these words as we experience this experience of the in-between, of the already and not yet. And sometimes, if we're being real with ourselves and with each other, it doesn't make sense how God is in the midst of all of it, in the midst of the pain and the hurt. But I can tell you that God is not removed from it. God fully understands grief and loss and pain. And you may ask why and how. How is that God understands this so much? Well, if we look at chapter 42, the very beginning of chapter 42 in Isaiah, we see a prophecy that someone's coming, right? We see a prophecy, here is my servant whom I uphold, my chosen one in whom I delight. I will put my spirit on him, and he will bring justice to the nations. It goes on to say more about this person that we're prophesying about here in the book of Isaiah. And as we could guess, that would be the person of Jesus, the prophecy of the coming Christ. And when God came, he lived in the liminality of this world and experienced it for himself as the person of Jesus through weeping over losing a friend, from sweating blood in the Garden of Gethsemane when he feels all the feelings that come with living on this earth. And even all the way to the cross when Jesus cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" See, friends, God is not removed from this. Rather, he is in the midst of this, working towards the renewal of all of creation, where he offers hope and peace. And I would be remiss if I didn't say he also invites us to join in with what he's doing as well. If we look at the second part that I'm going to hit on in chapter 42, verses 6, 7, and 8 says, I, the Lord, have called you in righteousness. I will take hold of your hand. I will keep you, and I will make you to be a covenant for the people a light for the Gentiles, to open the eyes of the blind, to free the captives from prison, and to release from the dungeon those who sit in darkness. I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not yield my glory to another or my praise to idols. As we journey through this liminality towards the day when all things are made new, when Jesus comes in glory, we can be reminded that God is near. Again, in verses 40 or in chapters 40 and 41, I am with you, I will hold your hand, I will not forsake you. Just like Mitzi was talking about earlier when she spoke, that God is in the midst of this, even when things are tough. We can be reminded the ways that God is near. And we can also participate in being the hands and feet of Jesus to others as they too experience the liminality of this world, the liminality of being a human being. We will always find ourselves in between something. And we can always find hope that God is in the midst of it, and peace, so that we can go and share this with others as well as they experience it. So maybe today you're feeling the full weight of being stuck in the in-between, right? You've put your faith in the truth that Jesus lived and died and rose again, ushering the kingdom of heaven in on earth even now. And yet you grieve all of the ways that it has not been made complete yet. I hope this serves as a comfort and a reminder for you today. I hope that this brings you peace in times of weariness. God is in the midst. He is no stranger to this. He understands, and you are allowed to feel this while also having hope. And we can go to share that with others who are inevitably experiencing the same.